Hey, it's me, MLB. This is a comfort story involving Dabi for those who turn to him when they're needing some support. This one, in its original form, can be found on my site titled Don't Cut. So you can imagine what the original plot revolves around, but because this is YouTube and YouTube has a number of trigger words that can potentially get your account banned, I don't really want to risk it, so I've rewritten this story to involve sleep paralysis and night terrors and to that effect. So I hope you enjoy this one, even though it's been tamed down for the masses. Anyway, let's get to it. This is Don't Scream, Dabi x Female Listener. You had only been in the League of Villains for less than 2 months, but already you had cemented yourself at the centre of the group and you felt very much at home there. Everyone had been quite welcoming, surprisingly, and you felt like you finally had a place to belong. Despite all of you being villains of some kind, you still had hearts and needed encouragement and love every now and again, and that very much included you, especially you. Okay, so you, but like all the time. It was partly your personality, but it was also partly your quirk, and you would slip into some kind of sleep paralysis, night terror, altered world of horror every second week or so, getting stuck in this limbo between reality and your subconscious, and it really wreaked havoc on your body. You didn't usually say anything when you felt these attacks coming on. You'd just quietly distance yourself from everyone and accept the black, swirling mass of dread that consumed you, knowing you would wake up in a few days feeling horrific. Well, sometimes you weren't sure if you'd even come out the other side. A few times these attacks had gone on for so long you almost lost your life over it. Prior to entering the League, you'd just not talk to anyone and disappear for a week or two until the after effects of your quirk had worn off, and then you would emerge looking emancipated and shaken. Although sometimes if a neighbour hadn't seen you for a few days, they'd call for an ambulance, and that's how you had found out that you could possibly die from these. But now that you had others around you constantly, there had come a new way to be brought back from the brink of death. Hey, wacko, Dabi greeted Toga, stepping through the doors of the League's secret hideout. He looked around and his face fell. Where's Yin? Toga hummed, with a bright blush on her cheeks at the mention of your name. I haven't seen her for, she thought, pressing her finger cutely to her cheek as she looked up and to the side, trying to remember the last time she'd seen you. Useless, Dabi grunted, getting a little more agitated. Where is she? I don't know, Dabi. Check her room, Toga replied with a smile. If she isn't there, she could be on a mission. Dabi just scowled and left the excited blonde to giggle and wave as he stalked off down the hallway with his hands shoved in his pockets. He got to your closed bedroom door and listened. All was silent, so he very quietly reached for the door handle and twisted it open, noiselessly opening the wooden door and looking in. You were on your bed, your legs rigid and breathing rate elevated, and as he got closer he could see that you were pale and sweating. Idiot. I've told her so many times to come to me when she starts to go downhill, he thought angrily, grabbing the sheets to at least pull them up over you to keep you warm, but in the process he must have disturbed you and you let out a loud scream and sat up, eyes wide, glazed and distant. Yin, he snapped, grabbing your shoulders. It's me. You were midway through an attack and weren't in your right mind, so you just continued to scream and thrash as he tried to hold you still. Yin, he shouted, trying to get through to you. Calm the hell down, you're safe. God damn it, you're safe. Dabi, you screamed out, and he grabbed his scarred arms around you and tackled you back first onto the bed, pinning you there under his body. The sudden smack of the soft mattress on your back was enough to break you out of it, and you came to, gasping and looking around wildly as he held you down. Once you realised where you were and what had happened, you burst into tears. How many times do I have to tell you? He barked at you, his head pressed into the pillow beside your head. Come to me before you have an attack. I don't want to annoy anyone with my terrors. You're a damn fool. I've told you so many times to come to me when you get like this, yet you won't listen, he growled at you. I'll tie you to myself if I have to. Is that what you want? You squeezed your eyes closed and sobbed, hiccuping as he continued to keep his arms clamped around you in a surprisingly warm hug. He just lay there and held you as you sobbed, tears drenching his neck and shirt. How long have you been like this? He asked in a low voice. I don't know, a few days, he said, sniffing heavily. I'm taking you to my room, he announced. What? Why? I don't... You're not leaving my room, he stated firmly, letting you go and propping himself up to stare down at you with his turquoise eyes. You looked up at him through watery eyes and nodded gently. biting your bottom lip to stop it from quivering. Have you eaten? What a stupid question. Of course you haven't, he muttered, sitting up and grabbing you by the hand to pull you off the bed, then marching you to the door. I don't want to inconvenience. You're not, okay? He snapped. Damn it, Yin. You hung your head. Now he's mad at me. All I do is annoy people. I shouldn't be here anymore. If only these attacks would just take me. Don't even think it, he growled. I know what you're thinking and you're wrong. Your eyes shot up and you looked at his back as he marched you to his room, then into it. You don't get it, do you? He asked as he closed his door behind you both and turned to you. Without sounding like I've lost my damn mind, He paused and looked away. Just come to me when you feel like this, don't be stupid. But why? Because I care about you, idiot, he snapped, those burning blue eyes glaring at you as he turned his head back towards you. Screw you, you made me say it. I didn't mean to, he said softly, clutching your arm to your side and shrinking your frame vulnerably. I'm just a pain. Why do you want to help me? Don't make me say any more stupid stuff, he grumbled, walking to his bed. Come here. You walked over and stopped beside him. Get on the bed. Sit or lie down. Doesn't matter. Just get on here. You obeyed and lay down in a ball beside him. Looking away from you, he lifted his arm and plopped it down across your side, his fingertips resting on your hip. Now go to sleep, he commanded. Try not to look like he cared about you. You relaxed a little under his hand and almost immediately you were asleep, breathing slowly and deeply as your tired body rested. Dabi looked down at you, then he shifted a little closer and grabbed his pillow and lifted your head, pushing it underneath so that you looked a little bit more comfortable. I'm gonna have to keep her close, otherwise she'll just keep falling back into this bad habit, he thought as he adjusted his hand on your side. In your sleep you mumbled his name and rolled, grabbing for his hand. He immediately let you hold it as you rolled the other way, and he adjusted and curled his body in behind you, your back tucked into his front. He looked down again and watched you peacefully sleeping, moving his hand so that he could intertwine his fingers with yours. He huffed through his nose with amusement, laying down as best he could. Idiot. You're gonna give me a bad back making me sleep like this, he thought to himself, slowly drifting off to sleep with you. When you woke next, you were still snuggled up and reversed into him, his warmth making you feel so much better. You stirred and he did too, sitting up quickly and letting go of your hand and pulling it away. What time is it? You whispered in a just woke up voice. Dunno, but stay here, I'm getting food. And with that he got up and left without saying another word. Dabi's bed smelled like charred coals, and in a weird way it was comforting to you. It wasn't long before he returned with takeaway, and you sat up when you saw the unmistakable logo of your favourite takeaway store stamped on the side of the box. Did you get something good? You asked him, pepping up a bit. Yeah, he replied, sitting down on the bed. So you have no excuse not to eat it. You smiled and opened the bag, pulling your food out and taking a mouthful. Dabi watched you eat, then reached into the bag and took something out for himself, eyeing you as he chewed on the food. After swallowing the mouthful, he put the food down and reached into his back pocket and pulled out some vitamins. Open your mouth, he commanded, cracking the bottle open and taking one of the chewy vitamins out. Obediently you did so, and he popped one of them into your mouth and then watched you chew it down. There. Don't make me use this bottle up because this stuff's expensive, Dabi grunted, packing it away. You bought it? You asked with surprise, food pushed into your cheeks. I thought you'd just steal it. Yeah, I bought it, he grunted. So don't do anything that makes me use it up needlessly, yeah? You smiled a little down at your lap and nodded. Okay. He placed a hand on your head and patted you a few times, then pulled back and reached for the food to keep eating, letting the comfortable silence hang over the two of you. And there ends the wholesome Dabi one-shot. I never thought of Dabi as a comfort character, but I could get used to this. Stay tuned for tomorrow's one-shot, part 5 of 50 Ways to Kiss.